Welcome back, painting friends. Today we are going to paint a painting of some icicles on a little branch. So colors you're going to need, I've got a light blue, purple, dark blue, white, gray, yellow, and brown paint. I always have my favorite 4 brushes at my painting station, my 1-inch flat brush, my 10, 6, and 1 round brush. Make sure that you have a cup of water and a rag for keeping your brushes clean. And today our inspiration comes straight from the studio. Look at this icicle that is growing out of the studio. And if I look over here, there's just icicles all over the studio right now. So that is going to be our inspiration for today. Remember, if you like what you are seeing, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, and check out our Facebook page where we have all of our fun little chats. All right, 1-inch flat brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here at the top with just white paint. Now, as I kind of pull this white down, I'm going to start to want to create something almost like a watercolor effect. And so as I have got about a third of this canvas colored, I'm going to switch over to a little bit of water on my brush and thin that paint out. So I'm switching over to some water. I want this bottom half to be thinner and a little liquidy, because what I'm going to do now is take white, just kind of put it on here, again using some water. Just add some random white spots. And then I'm going to start in there with a little bit of that light blue and just kind of tap it in, keeping it kind of watery. It's okay if the water kind of drips down a little bit, but there's going to be some messy colors. Okay, so I've got this light blue in there. I'm going to grab some water and a little bit of purple. Maybe drop some purple spots, just kind of anywhere I want them to go. And we're looking for a really, really, really light color. You can kind of pull some of that up into the white. That top part should really just remain white. And then down here at the very bottom, I think I'm going to take just a little bit of that dark blue, again with some water on my brush, and just kind of put some of that dark blue right down there in that corner. And if you want to switch over to your number 10 round brush while you're doing this, if you don't like those really fat, thick lines, you could switch over to your number 10 round brush, kind of just mix it up a little bit smaller with a smaller brush stroke. All right, we're going to let this messy background dry. When we come back, we're going to fill in those icicles and those tree branches. With a dry background, it's now time to go ahead and lay in our tree. So I'm going to use that brown paint in my number 6 round brush, and you can add as many branches as you want, but my main branch is just going to be kind of starting up here in this corner and kind of coming down. This is the one that's going to have all icicles on it, okay? And anytime I do a branch, I like to make one straight line through before I go back and kind of fill it in. So now that I have it on there, I'll start at the edge to make sure that edge is a really skinny little fine tip. Might even add some water to my brush to make sure that my lines are super smooth. And remember, tree branches aren't meant to be straight, so don't worry if you've got a bump and a wiggle and a jiggle in there, just let it be. The one thing you do want to make sure of is that as you're going towards the edge of your canvas, you do allow it to get quite a bit thicker than the rest of it. And even on this little branch right here, you can add a couple of little extra branches that are kind of flanking off of it. And then same thing with your other branches, but I'm going to make the rest of them a little bit smaller. So if I put one up here, or even one that's kind of coming down this way, any place you put these branches, just make sure that you are drawing your line first and then going back and editing it just a little bit. and filling it in, making it thicker at the end of your canvas. Now that I have all of these done, I'm going to go in with a little bit of dark blue, and I'm just going to make some little dark blue lines right along the bottom of my trees. And I know that sounds really weird, but watch what's going to happen. So I'm going to put that dark blue on there, and then I'm going to go back in with that brown and kind of mix those in. And that dark blue is going to act as a really great cold looking shadow. So once you put that brown back on top of it, you lose the blue part of it, but you gain this really great cold looking shadow. So a little bit of brown on top of some blue, and you are going to create a beautiful shadow along the bottom of your branches. Now, when I do that, I like to stay with small little brush strokes. Let me zoom you in to right here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But I like to use small little brush strokes so that it looks like a texture of the tree bark. Okay, nice and zoomed in. So I'm taking my brush with that blue on it, and I'm just kind of brushing that blue in. And then I'll take that brown paint right over top of it. Again, small little lines, just to darken up a little bit of the bottom of these branches. And in the same turn, I'll wipe that off, and I'll put just a little bit of yellow at the top. So any place that I'm going to perceive as like the top of my branch, I'll take a little bit of yellow, and then I'll take that brown and brush those colors in together. And it gives me, again, just a really nice highlight that's just a lighter brown, not really adding white or black to this. We just want it to be more natural colors. So a little bit of yellow at the top of these, a little bit of brown mixed in, and you've got a really, really, really great highlight of a really great natural wood color. All right, let's pop back out and get these done. Now that we have our lights and our darks on there, let's go ahead and add our snow to the top. So I'm going to take a little bit of purple, a lot of white paint, and I am going to just kind of put chunks of snow all over these branches. And you can throw in a little bit of a light blue if you want. I wouldn't add any dark blue, but if you want to throw some light blue in there, just kind of change it up a little bit. But you are just going to make this snow thick, okay? Just fill it up. And remember, not all branches are going to kind of hold snow the same. So you want to make some have a little less or some a little more. Just have fun with it. It's snow. You can't go wrong. I just love how that snow looks. But let's talk about icicles. So icicles, they are all different shapes and sizes, but they all have a couple things in common, okay? They, well, they all go down, right? So we're gonna start off with some white and a little bit of gray, and we're just gonna lay out where these icicles are gonna go. So right down here, I'm actually gonna make a really, really, really fat one, okay? This is like the end of the tree, so it's where all of the snow is kind of melting towards. So I've just got one really big, long, fat triangle. And all I did with that, again, is I just took some white and some gray. I'm just kind of outlining a squiggly line of a triangle. You can kind of go ahead and brush that in with those colors to make a nice little base. Now, with that, I can take that gray and maybe some of that dark blue, and I'm going to create a shadow side and a highlight side. And you have to make sure that all of them have the same shadows and all the same highlights. So this side right here is going to be my shadow side. And I'm just going to kind of take that dark blue, kind of dot a couple of lines down. So just a really very simple little number 6 round brush, just kind of touching the edge of that icicle. And then I'm just tapping over it so that those colors kind of blend together into that gray. From there, as I move across, I can take some white and I can do the same thing. I can just kind of blend those colors with this very gentle tapping motion. I can add a little bit of that purple or even a little bit of that light blue in if I want. But I'm going to start off with just a little bit of white, going about halfway across. Then I'm going to take that white and that light blue, and I want almost no light blue, so almost all white, and I'm going to add that to this side over here. Now I'm going to take that gray and I'm going to create a couple of lines that kind of separate where maybe there's like a bump in the icicle. And these should not be evenly distributed at all. Make sure that they're kind of random. Wipe that brush off. I'm going to take some white and some yellow, and I want it to be a very, very, very light yellow color. So make sure there's a lot of white mixed in with that yellow. And I'm going to make just some areas that are going to be really brightly highlighted yellow towards this right hand side. And then I'm just going through and I'm just kind of blending some of these colors in so that they are all just connected a little bit. So not adding any paint to my brush, just kind of tapping these colors along. I think I do want to have it be just a little bit more bright white. So I'm going to take my brush with some white and just add some areas of brighter white. It's kind of randomly through here. You know, these icicles are essentially see-through. I want to have some of these lines of just brighter white in there. I love that. Now, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of blue, that dark blue. I'm actually going to give myself like a gentle outline on this side that's kind of a messy outline. See it a little bit, don't see it a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side with white. Okay, so there we have icicle number 1. You can add as many of these as you want. I'm going to go ahead and throw some skinnier ones in, but I'm going to put myself in speed motion because it's the exact same every time. A little bit of gray, a little bit of white. Draw out your wavy triangle. Kind of tap in those colors to fill it in. And then we're going to start by adding that dark blue on the left and tapping that dark blue in. Then we'll add some white in the center, finish off with some yellow and some white, and add that highlight. So every one of these is going to be the exact same process, but you're going to change kind of the shape and the look of each of those icicles, allowing to have them some of those bumps in there, and outline them when you're done. It is going to be that simple, but it does take a while. So it is time for me to speed it up and get some of these icicles on here for you. Well, I'd never painted icicles before, and I kind of just went with what I saw in the studio, and I really liked the way they turned out. Remember, you can add as many or as few as you want, but when you're finished, you need to find a color that's going to show up well on your canvas and sign your name. I always sign my name in the bottom right corner. Now make sure that when you're finished painting, you take a picture and you send it to me on our Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. I never get to see them unless you do that. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you're kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And remember, as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.